What is up YouTube? My name is, as always, Mr. Rs3, and I welcome you all back to another video on my channel. And today I actually have something different than the other times. I mean, you guys know that normally you will see some kind of guide from me or some kind of Bronzeman series update, but in this video I actually want to show you guys something that I stumbled across when playing RuneScape 3 on my Bronzeman account and talk a little bit about it. I think to fully understand this, you need to understand what the spell Invoke Death actually is. Invoke Death is a spell that you can activate with Necromancy. And when you activate it, it is on for 12 seconds, and when you damage a mob in these 12 seconds, you can spell a death mark on them. And when the mob has a death mark on his head, then he basically gets executed when he drops below 20% health. For example, if I activate it and then I attack this ghoul, and then I damage him a little bit, and yeah, let's take him to under 20% health, you will see that he now will get this animation that you, for example, also get when you use a death touch dart, and he gets executed to 0 health and is essentially dead. And this actually also works at all the bosses in RuneScape 3, or almost all the bosses, and it normally has a cap of, I think, 30k damage. So for example, when you get a boss like Raziel to 30k damage, he will essentially get executed and the kill is over. And this spell is actually really cool and sometimes really OP. And on my Bronzeman account, I was actually fighting Araxxor, the spider boss in the game, and I think you guys all know how Araxxor works. And then I actually stumbled across something really weird, a really weird interaction, to be honest. Because here we actually have a really interesting mechanic. A Mirrorback Spider basically is a spider that Araxxor can spawn when you use the top part, or the top part is open of the boss. And when the spider spawns, you can't damage the boss anymore. So when you, for example, then use an ability on Araxxor, this damage will be reflected back to your health, and you essentially get KO'd in a lot of scenarios. But it also has a second effect, that half of the damage the Mirrorback Spider takes is reflected back to the host spider, including damage higher than the Mirrorback Spider's health. And normally I think this is actually something that is okay to know, but doesn't make a really big difference. But with the ability Invoke Death, it can actually make a huge change. This is because, I show you this one in the clip I have already recorded, when you take a Mirrorback Spider and then you use the spell Invoke Death on it, and it gets a death mark and gets executed, the spider boss Araxxor then gets reflected half of the damage the Mirrorback Spider would have gotten. So, because I guess the execute of the Invoke Death ability is coded like a 60k damage that you deal to the boss, because as I mentioned, the cap is 30k damage, so I guess they coded it that the boss gets hit with 60k damage, so you always get this KO. I guess it's just a little bit spaghetti code. But then the 60k, half of that is reflected to the spider boss, and she essentially gets a 30k damage hit. Which is absolutely insane, because as you can see, for example, in this phase here, I then could easily proceed and use another ability and then just get to the next phase just because of this Mirrorback Spider. And this can actually be really helpful when you, for example, are not that high level or struggle with the spider boss itself, because you can basically wait when he spawns the minions, that he spawns the Mirrorback Spider, then use Invoke Death, use an ability on the spider, kill it, and then get this 30k damage on the spider's head. What I am actually not sure about is if this is actually intended by Jagex, and that they want that this interaction exists and you can get this easy free damage on the spider boss, or if they have fucked up a little bit and the spaghetti code has taken over. But I think this interaction is really interesting, and I stumbled across it and I just wanted to make this video about it. I know it was something different and it was really quick, but I still hope that you guys liked it. And if so, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and leave a comment on what your opinion is, if this is a bug or a feature. And now I wish you a beautiful rest of the day, and I'll see you on Sunday to the next video. Bye!